Hey all, hope you all are doing good. Namaste. So today we are going to understand about multi-instance, parallel, sequential, for loop, everything with a small understanding of for each loop. So the workflow that you're seeing, that is it. So when we are learning about markup loop, we are going to use it, then replace with this, then replace with this. So basically, this loops or multi-instance, whatever the concept that we are studying, can be applied on a manual task, user task, script task, any task. So we'll try to learn on one thing and we'll try to see how we can imitate for others. But before that, the crucial concept which comes before this is for loop, for each loop. So if you are aware of that, you can find the timestamp on the top somewhere. You can directly jump onto that. But people who are not sure or not aware of what is for each loop, just wait. Okay, so we'll try to understand what is for each loop and then we'll jump. Okay, and if you are already aware, go jump to that timestamp. Okay, so this is the complete documentation of for loop. I'll have this in the description, and before that, yeah, this is what I have already written the snippet. And let's see. So we have simple let's say we have a simple variable which is a list. Okay, and in that list I have some, as of now I have 3 items. I might have 1,000 items or crore items, I don't care. I have a list, that's it. Okay, so there is some action, some performance that I need to process on each and every item that is present in the list. Okay, so let's forget programming and try to read this in English. Okay, there is a variable, I'm using that variables and I'm reading sentences in this for each. For each means what? First this will come, you perform your action, then again it will iterate to the next items, it will iterate to the next item, like that it will go on till the end of the elements. That's it. I hope this is not very critical. It's simply saying that for each element in the variable I'll perform this operation, that's it. So for that sake, I have taken this here. Okay, so sentence is that for each. So first thing that I'm going to get here is, okay, let me just remove this is for a minute. So first that I'm going to get here is do. What I need to do with this, I'll process it. Once this is done, in the next iteration I'm going to get what? I'm going to get subscribe. Okay, which you are not doing, that's why I mentioned. So do subscribe and support, that is really encouraging. So this is how it's going to work. So let's see a live demonstration. So functions word index. So this index, let me remove it for a moment to avoid confusion. Yeah, let me remove this completely. So you can see what I'm doing here. For each word that I'm going to get, I'm going to simply print it. So where is this word coming from? Oh, you can write anything, you can write ABCD also. So it's basically defining the word to catch the item in the iterating list. Okay, so you can use whatever here want. So first ABCD is equal to do, then ABCD is equal to subscribe, then ABCD is equal to Dpoint, like that it is going to happen. So let's run it and we can see do subscribe Dpoint. Okay, similarly I was using word, that's not a big thing, but yeah, it's good to write an understandable thing. So let's run it again, and it's this is the concept, but here we have multiple ways of writing the function. So I also get the index. If I want, I can use it, otherwise I can leave it. So index is nothing but this is 0th position, that is the index. This is first position, that is the index. So that's what it is going to give me. So if I want, I can use it, otherwise I can skip it, no issue. So just for the sample sake I'm showing, and let's run it again. So you can see 0th index do is there, first index subscribe. So this is what for each loop is. Okay, and this is first concept that you need to understand. Now since you are the people who are already aware of for each loop, they also might have jumped to this timestamp. So for all you guys who have not watched my spin that how to read a JSON and all, you can find the video stamps above and links in the description. Do watch that, because I'm not going to explain complete parsing part. So we are going to use that now. After that concept, we are going to jump in the for each or for loop, the multi-instance. So what is it? Let's try to understand. Let me get this here. Yeah, so this one we have already seen, and this is what we are going to use now. Okay, so let's try to understand what we are doing here. Again we are simply creating a variable called sentence. Okay, that's not much different. So here, instead of simply creating a list, okay, let's see this. So here words is a variable which is having a list. Okay, so this is how you can understand. This would be more. Okay, let me put it here. So this is the content, and all this content is in the list. So basically words is having the list, and this words is part of a JSON. You can see JSON is starting here, JSON is ending here. So this JSON is holded by variable called sentence. This is nothing new. This you will be able to understand easily if you have watched the video of how to read what is the use of spin, what is JSON.stringify, and all those things. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are going to create this variable, and we are going to store it in a variable called sentence. And since we are storing it as a string, we can directly put sentence. That's fine. Without JSON.stringify, we can directly put sentence, but that will be a literal string. If I want to read it again as a JSON, I won't be able to. But I want to read it as a JSON going forward in my for loops or loops. That's why I'm saying that this is a JSON which I want to store it as a stringify. So let's just to give you a direct one-liner sample. What example I can say is, let's say case 1. Okay, I'm storing, this has nothing to do with the multi-instance, but I'm going to take a minute because this is a crucial concept. Okay, so let's say I'm going to store the sentence as a string directly, only string. It's not JSON.stringify. No, I'm storing it as a string. Now next time if I want to read it, I cannot read it as a JSON. While reading also, I'm going to get it as a string only. But case 2, if I store this sentence as a string but using JSON.stringify, sentence as JSON, I stored it in this manner. So in such case, when I'm reading it, I can either read it as a string or either I can read it as a JSON. So if you want to read it as a string, it's a normal procedure. But if I want to read it as a JSON, at that time I can say S means a spin. So this time I can read this as a sentence. So this S spin, it assumes that the variable that I'm going to read is in the format of JSON. Okay, now if it is not in the format of JSON, this is going to throw error, that is while saving. This is going to throw error while reading. I hope the concept of S is clear, but that video definitely will help you. So that was the concept. Now let's see what are we trying to do. Okay, simply we are storing it in a sentence, and we are putting a count and temp variable. Why are we using this? We'll try to understand in a moment. So I hope so far these two concepts are clear. Now let's jump into our multi-instance thing. So here is our this thing. So first thing, to relax a bit, what I can say is, we have, if I open any task, irrespective of what task it is, I will have these three options for everything. Okay, so now why I am taking user task for the demo purpose, that you will be able to understand before dispersing. So let's see what this is doing. First, to understand this loop marker, sorry. So there is no such thing called loop marker in Camunda. Now this a symbol that you are seeing, you cannot use it at all. Then why is it there? Maybe for future implementation, but as of today there is no such thing as loop marker. Okay, now from where I got to know this, or how I am saying, let's read this documentation. So you can see the loop marker is not natively supported yet by the engine. So as of this day, when I'm recording, it's not supported. So how we are doing, it's basically we are using a gateway, putting a condition and trying to find out whether I should repeat it or not, or go ahead. So that is a native loop. Okay, so basically now you might have relaxed. Okay, I need not to understand this concept. Yes, you need not to. So let's forget that. Okay, now let's see what is the changes that is happening. Okay, so let's say there is a service task or user task. Okay, let's say there is a service task, and you see these are the properties. Okay, now in these properties, you know what is implementation, you know what is asynchronous before and asynchronous after. If you don't, you can follow that video again. This is a different video, but I'll put the link somewhere on top here. Now this is a point very keen to understand. As soon as I make this or this, now when I'm hovering, you can see it is a parallel. It means what? let's try to understand. And the next is sequence, let's try to understand this as well. So I'm not going to click it because we are going to get multiple properties here and you are going to get confused. So let's get back to our fiddler and try to understand what is this. So when I am saying sentence.forEach, how this getting executed is one by one. First the do part is getting processed, then subscribe is getting processed. Once the subscribe is over, then dpoint is coming. Once the dpoint is processed, then it is searching for the next. So it's happening sequentially. Okay, but if I say that I want to execute it parallelly, then the do will happen independently, subscribe will happen independently, for dpoint will happen independently. They are not depending on each other. Now I hope because of this you will be able to clearly understand that as per your use case, do you want the parallel multi-instance or sequence multi-instance. So I hope this is clear. Right, now let's click on this. So vertical sticks is parallel, let's click on this. Now we see some different properties. Okay, let's try to understand, because overall I'm saying from the very beginning implementation is just 1 minute. Let's try to understand the concept. Okay, so here the first option that we see is loop cardinality. Now what is this? We are going to implement each and every one of them and not more than 2 minutes. So that's how easy it is. So loop cardinality means irrespective of how many items are there in the list or how many times you have configured for the loop to iterate, I literally don't care. Loop cardinality is like you have mentioned some hard-coded value that irrespective of whatever the item is, I want it to execute this many number of times. I hope that is clear. Okay, so now okay, let's take a scenario. If my list has 100 items, I mentioned that I can handle only 10 items in an instance, so I'll put 10. So you might say, what will happen if my list has only 5 items but your loop cardinality is 10? So does it mean that 5 will be executed? Experiment, put some logic. It's not possible. So here loop cardinality is basically saying how many times a loop should execute. So we can use it in various situations. Let's say I have 100 items but I want only 10 items, so this might be one. And one more thing would be like I just want to print a statement and there is no counter or anything, again I can use for this one. So there are various scenarios. Just you can practice and experiment with different scenarios. So that is loop cardinality. Basically you are telling how many times they should iterate. Okay, now next I have a collection. So collection element variable will put aside for a minute. And then we have complete condition. Okay, let's say I have a counter variable which is 0. So here in a complete condition I am going to write that as soon as this counter becomes 50, just stop it. Okay, so you can some people will ask, what is the difference between loop cardinality and complete condition? There's no similarity. It's a complete different behavior. Loop cardinality, you are fixing it. Okay, this is the number of times it should execute. Complete condition could be anything. Okay, let's say string length it becomes 100, stop it. Okay, so here it might be any condition. I hope now it makes sense. So I will try to use it, but as going forward you will be able to get the clear picture. But as of now I hope the difference is clear. Next we have collection. So collection means what? The list, array of different types, string, integer, huge kind of data structure, we call them a collection. So if you are from non-programming background, collection is English term. It's basically collection of something. It's basically a collection. Okay, if you are from non-programming background, still collection is collection. It's basically a group of things. Okay, so let's see this. So sentence is what? It is a string, it is an integer? No, it's a collection of something, right? So that's why you can simply call it as a collection. So programming people, don't laugh, just it's a layman terms I'm using. Okay, now I can say this is a collection of strings. I can have a collections of collections of collections of collections of collections and so on. Okay, it was just an example. So I can have a collections of JSONs, collection of list, collection of collections of strings. Here I simply have a list, which is nothing but a collection of type string here. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now what I'm going to tell here is what is my collection. That's what I'm going to present. So basically collection expects the list or the collections. Okay, the list of items. Now the element variable, let's try to correlate. So in this case this is our collection. So I can say sentences is my collection. Now when I say for each variable of each element of this is getting assigned to a temporary variable, which is word or the ABCD. That temporary variable is what we call as a element. So that element variable they are asking us here. So what is your group of items, and for each iteration that item I should assign to what, that variable I need to put here. So I hope the concepts are clear. What is parallel, what is sequential, I hope everything is clear. Now let's try to understand the implementation. Okay, so this is a user task which does nothing. Verify, let me give it a different name, verify end. Okay, yeah, so verify begin, it has nothing. In the listener I simply created a script, and in that script what is happening is, the script is nothing but this thing. Okay, so I am simply creating a variable called sentence, and I am creating a set variable, and I am assigning this complete JSON to this word. So basically how I'm going to read it, that's also we are going to understand, but in the user time I'm simply creating these three variables. I hope so far it is clear. Now as soon as it goes to next, okay, so the next is our, okay, let me make it first let's try to understand sequence, yeah, and then, so in sequence what we need is, okay, okay, let me take this, we are going to take one at a time. So this is my collection, and let's say word is my item. Is that what I'm using? Yes, word is my item. So yeah, so what is happening here is, I'm reading a sentence stating that the sentence is a JSON. So S means it is going to read the sentence as a JSON, because I've already told that it is a JSON string. So S means spin. Spin means reading string which is internally a JSON. Now in that, now since it's a JSON, so I can use the other properties or keywords or the inbuilt functions of spin, like has property, is property, and all the stuff. So now what I'm saying is, now I'm selecting dot prop of word. So what is that? So if you see, I read S of sentence means now I have access to this much. Now in this much I am saying I want to read the first property, or the property called words. So as soon as I say dot prop of words, now I have access to this much, that is an array. Now in that array I want what, I want the first item or the second item, third item, or all the items. Basically the collection, I want all the items. So that's why what I'm saying here is, I want elements. So as soon as I say elements, I'll get all the items which is present in this words list. I hope so far it is clear. Now all the elements I have in the collections, each one of them is going to get assigned by the word. So programming people definitely might find the explanation redundant, but definitely it's not only for programming people, okay, it's for everyone, so bear with me. Okay, so far so clear, because this thing, same thing, we are going to use it for all these things, but that's why I'm taking much time on this. Now I have this, let's try to understand what is happening here. So now at iteration 1 I have access to what, the first item in the list. What is the first item in the list? This is this JSON. So I have a content and a value one. So basically my first item is again a JSON, that forget it, but basically I have first item. Now what I'm doing with it, let's see. So I'm not doing anything in the form. In the listener I'm simply saying that there is a variable called temp which we created initially. It's an empty variable. So I'm simply appending that first item's value to the temp variable. So execution dot get variable of word, that is first element which I have access. Now this is again a JSON, so I'm reading it as an S, and then I'm accessing dot prop of content. So if you are confused, let me go back again. So as soon as I read it as a JSON, as an S, I'm reading this JSON, and I'm accessing dot prop of content. This I'm getting access to. When I say dot value, I'll get the value inside it. I hope the content is clear. So we are just making use more of spin just to have a good grip on it. Okay, so basically I'm setting a variable called 10 and I'm appending. So this is what it is going to create. So first temp is going to have a value called value 1 in the first iteration. In the second iteration, my next value 2 is going to get append. In my third iteration, value 3 is going to append. This is to show that actually the iteration happened. Okay, next what, I have a counter variable. So this counter variable I don't need as of now, because I have already I know that only as many items I have, that many iterations I'll have. So why I have counter, it is to demonstrate the other properties which we'll see in the coming deployments, okay, in the same video of course. Okay, so let's try to deploy this and try to understand. So as of now what we are doing, sequential, multi instance sequentially. Okay, so let's save this, and I hope you are getting the concept. So this much is going to execute this thing. I is not part of the workflow. Okay, so let's go to our this. I hope this is not required. This I'll put in the description. And okay, let me deploy succeeded. Okay, refresh. Oh, username is you, password is you, sign in. And my second deployment, I have this multiple instance. Okay, yes, open it. And there's no process as of now, as expected. Now let's start a task list, and we are going to start the process. Okay, start process, multi instance sample 1, business key, I'm good, fine, start. So let me refresh, and I have a verify begin. Yes, claim. The diagram I can see I'm on the beginning path, refresh. So now since it's a sequence, I will get one user task. As soon as the first user task is done, then I'm going to get the next user task. So let's try to open the first instance and claim. Yes, complete. You can see I got this. Okay, so this, you can see the name is core multiple instance act loop. Okay, so I can see that is created. Now let's see what all variables are there. I can see count is there, sentence is there, and an empty temp is there. As soon as I complete the first iteration, okay, it's going there, and that part is already done. Yes, so you can see it's a user task, and in the user task, in the listener, in the start script we have kept. So as soon as the control reached, it executed. Okay, so here what we can say is my word, that is the first element that I had is this, right? And my temp value is appended with the value 1, and my sentence is sentence. So count is there, loop counter is there. Loop counter is 0. As soon as I complete, loop counter will become 1. Forget about that, we'll try to understand that in a minute. But here, this is one thing you understood, that I got the access to the first element, I appended the first value. Now these three things that we are seeing, nr of activity instances, number of instances, number of these are not something we created, these are internal variables. Okay, so let's go to the documentation, and we'll find it here again. Let me just copy, control F, control V. You can see here, you can find it, and I'll have this link in the description. So go through this documentation in your with a peace of mind. Yeah, so let's try to see here. Number of instances is 6, because I have 6 elements. Out of this, active instance is 1 and completed is 0. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's try to claim and complete. So you see, created a few seconds ago. This is the second iteration. So let's refresh this. Okay, so you can see now I have a value too. So I have access to second element, and number of instances completed is the previous one, that is already completed, and number of active instances, the one that is active now. So you can see count is 2. Okay, forget count as of now. Yeah, so I hope this is clear now. Let's just claim it, because I hope now this is clear. So we are third element, now it's a fourth element, and claim it. This is fifth element, and claim it. And let me refresh it again. We have one more element, so just waiting for it. So you can see as of now I have access to value 6, and my counter is 6, that is I'm on the 6th place. Okay, so loop counter is 5, because it started from 0. So let's claim this and complete it. So verify, and yes, we verified everything, and we are good. So you can see, since the iteration is completed, all the variable that is created by the process for the looping purpose is gone now. Okay, so now I can see, if I open temp, I can see value 1 was first and value 6 is the last. So let's just claim, and okay, I can complete it, but let's leave it like that, just in case we need to compare it again. Okay, so I hope the sequential part is clear. Let's try to implement the parallel part now. So you see, since the concept is clear now, you will be easily able to grasp now. So I'm going to simply make it as a parallel, and since I made some changes, the properties are gone, so I need to copy paste again. So this is my collection. Where is it? Yeah, this is collection. And where is my word? Yes. And yeah, scroll down. Okay, again, since asynchronous before, asynchronous after, you have seen the video already. If not, the link is above. Please watch that to understand about this. This concept is again same applicable for multiple instance and multiple. If not, just try to experiment, because I have seen there is not much difference. That's why I'm not explaining it explicitly, because we have already spent too much time on a separate video on these two. So the same thing applies for these two, but in a multi-instance level. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear. Now let's okay, so this is clear. Now it's a parallel, so let's save this, deploy, and deploy successful. So let's go to this multi-instance, and now I should have a second. So we can see, okay, let me zoom in a bit, plus, you can see now it's a parallel. So let's see what happens. So basically it will not go one by one, all the user tasks will be shown at once. So start process, multi-instance start, and there you go. So if I refresh, yes, verify begin, claim, and ready to get bombarded with all the 6 user instances. Okay, and complete. Damn, 1 2 3 4 5 6, you can see. Now let's see what is the status of Cockpit. Yes, there you go. So now you see loop counter is created for every instance, and I have a number of activities. Active is 6, completed is 0, number of instances is 0, and I have access to each word. So you can now understand that each word belongs to different iteration. Okay, so let's see what happens. This is claim, complete. Yes, let's refresh this, and let's try to understand. So you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 are still there, because because the complete thing is not gone, but yeah, this is there. And in my temp, you can see in temp already everything is appended, but again here you can see it's again in sequence. So is it possible that all of them are started parallelly, but one after the other in sequence? No, it's not possible. But here it's like in sequence, because it might be because we have very small number of elements. If I have 10,000 elements, you might have seen that value 1 came, then value 3 came, then value 6. Okay, so it might be possible. This we cannot assure. So it's just like when we are talking about RAM, everything seems to be parallel but doesn't. Here also the similar things apply. Okay, now let's not confuse how the behavior of RAM, because there it seems to be parallel with the help of virtual memory and all those things, and but here it's actually parallel. Okay, there the process moves from one process to other, one application to the other. It's that much fast that it seems to be parallel in case of our RAM, but here it's actually parallel. Okay, and one more thing, because this point anyway came, if you are watching my playlist of ethical hacking or so, there's a basic foundation level of networking that we need to understand the concept, the foundation that you are not aware, and you are directly jumping to the catch the flags, hacking, ethical hacking, bug crowd, bug bounty, everything, which is not good. Okay, so we are having an upcoming playlist on the foundations of networking. Stay tuned for that. Let's try to complete that playlist, then you jump on your any kind of bug bounties. Okay, let's put that aside and get back to these things, and we can simply complete all those things. And I hope the concept is clear. I don't want to complete all those things, so let me just delete the deployment, so all the user tasks will be gone. Okay, that's how lazy we are. Okay, so we are good now, and we have understood about parallel and sequential. Let's try to understand about cardinality. what is cardinality. uh, okay, so why I'm taking user task for the demonstration is because you have seen it is waiting for me, and I can correlate and see the cockpit status at each and every iteration. But if it's a service task, it will happen automatically, right? So I cannot view it. That's why I've taken the user task as demonstration. I hope that justifies why I've taken user task. Okay, let's make it with the sequential, and let's try to understand the other concepts. Okay, so first thing first, we have to copy this one. This is my collection, and next is my word. Okay, so here, as we have seen, if I run this, it should execute 6 times, right? Because it's like one after the other. Or okay, let's put it parallel only because we want everything very quickly. So let me make it parallel. And now wait, yeah, you can practice that out. So here, let me put this word, and I want the sequential. Oh man, oh god, yeah, let me copy this and scroll down collection. This is my words. Now we know if I run it, it will run 6 times. Okay, now we are putting loop cardinality as 2. Let's see what happens now. Okay, and deploy. Yep, refresh. This is my current deployment. Let's go to that and start one more instance. Okay, so start process, multiple instance, start, refresh. Let's see, verify begin. I'm good. Refresh. Yep, I can see the instance. So yeah, this is what we are basically having as part of a user task. It's nothing to do with the loop so far. So let's complete the verify begin, and I have the first one. Okay, let's refresh it and see what is the status of the other variables. You can see number of instances as 2. I hope you need no more explanation because of the time that you have spent to understand the foundation in the beginning of the video and not jumped in between. Now you understand that I have 6 items, but I still see 2. Is the same applicable for parallel? Of course. Okay, now let's move on to this. Okay, now loop cardinality is clear, no more times. Okay, now let's try to, I think I kept the variable somewhere here. Let's take that. Oh no, fine. Let's get ready to do some silly mistakes. So here what I'm going to say that I have what variable, I have a counter variable. Let's see, yes, I have a count variable. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say as, oh, welcome to Dragon Ball. If you watch, do comment. Okay, so this is my modeler, and here I'm going to say as soon as the counter becomes if counter is greater than 3, just stop it. Oh, it's big, so let's put counter is greater than 2. So what I can expect, 0, it will execute. 1, it will execute. 2, it will still execute. 3, it will not execute. So now I can say I'll have 3 active instances. Okay, so should we try it out with parallel? Let's do that. And deploy. I don't know how the counter will behave since it's a parallel. Let's experiment. Okay, and multi-instance. This is a, oh, it didn't deploy it, or we did not deploy. Oh, it failed. Error, resource multi instance sample deploy error, could not parse a ppm. What? Why? Oh, the variable is gone. Oh, I was editing in here or here. Where was I editing? This is bad. I'm sorry for the delay. Okay, let's stick to the sequential and copy this again, and let's quickly understand. Oh, it's here. And what happened? What was wrong? Okay, so let's see this. Deploy. You can experiment with parallel how the counter will behave, or else let's do in a minute. First, let's try to understand sequentially. Deployment succeeded. Excellent. Let's go here, refresh. So here we are checking about the complete condition. Okay, that's what we are trying to learn here. Okay, let's refresh this again and start process and multi-instance start, refresh, verify begin, claim, complete, and I see first and 2. Oh no, this is the old one. Oh man, this could be confusing, so forget this was created 3 minutes ago. Only one is created, which is expected because it is a sequential. So let's refresh and see the status of cockpit. Okay, and here, yeah, all these things are there. Count is 1, number of instances is 6, because it is not aware of the complete condition. It's just check true or false, iterate one more time or not. That's it. That's what the complete conditions and cardinality differences. I hope now it makes sense, more sense to you. Okay, claim complete, yes. Now it's a second iteration, complete, yes. Now let's see and see the value. Okay, so count value is what? Count value is 3. Now this time if I complete, the loop should exit. Okay, so because now count is greater than 2. Okay, so complete, you see verify end. I hope the complete condition makes sense to you. Okay, so does it works with the parallel? Let's check it out, because whatever we wanted to learn we already had learned. Now let's experiment. So how will it work with the parallel? It should work similarly, because the counter variable is executing one after the other. So how it would increment, let's see. Okay, so we are simply going to make it as a parallel. Okay, so if you wanted to learn the concepts, we are already done. You can escape, have a great day ahead, and build out some useful use cases, and do share it in the comment section if you want. So for the remaining people, let's enjoy the experiment. Okay, so this is what we want, and collection, this is my word, not my word to you. Okay, in loop cardinality complete condition. Okay, dollar, and then my count should be, if it is greater than 2, then exit, deploy, and we should have our fourth instance ready. Boom. Okay, so let's refresh, start process, multi-sample, and start. So first we don't get bombarded because we have a verify begin task. Okay, claim complete. Now 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, we get all of them. It doesn't care because it's not one of the. Let's see what is the variable count. It's a 6. So complete condition is, counter does not make sense for the parallel instances. So this did not throw us any error. So this kind of mistakes in the gateways is already done many a time. So that's why I have again created a video on that, explaining the mistakes that we do in the gateway. You can watch out this link. I'll put somewhere on top, and the links in the description. So I hope you like the explanation, and if there is something which I missed and you are aware, do mention in the comment section, because finally overall we all are learning and sharing with each other of us. So if you like, do subscribe and click on notifications. So the sad thing about this channel is 92% of subscribe viewers are not subscribers, so that is disheartening. So do subscribe to support, and have a great day. Thank you.